Doing, man? Good evening.
I'm very well. Good evening to you.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. It's so exciting to have you here. So exciting. I'm sure you're very tired from media rounds. Your movie is dropping on Friday, and here I am pulling you into this evening. But the show must go on, and I'm really excited about the conversation we're going to have because I have so many questions, but I'll try and keep them limited, anyways. so. Yeah, so basically, good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's edition of Film Talks. I'm your host, Muiwa, and I'm the creative director of Sodas and Popcorn. We are having a conversation with somebody who has been in the industry for a good enough time to be able to give some advice and say this is how you should go about making your film. Somebody who has had a lot of experience dealing with various kinds of platforms, cinema releases, VOD releases, TV releases, everything all around, and production, acting, directing, and she's none other than Biodun Stephen. Sorry, pardon me. It's a pleasure to have you. Good evening, Ma. Thank you very much for joining us in this conversation. And we're going to be talking about your new film, Breaded Life, which is dropping in cinemas in 2 days. And I'll be one of those queuing up for the first screening to see the movie on Friday.
Yes, please, you and your battalion, please.
Yes, we will
Not
come
just
out. We
you
will
and
troop
your
out.
battalion.
Yes, mind you guys, stick around because we're going to be giving out 5 movie tickets at the end of the score. When we're rounding up, we're going to be giving 5 tickets to people who are on the score. So make sure you stick around for us to. We're going to pick people at random, people who are live, people who are
Yeah.
engaging during this conversation. So please just make sure you stick around for that, and you get a free ticket to see the movie. All right, let's get started. So the other Stevie, you have so many movies under your shoulder, under your portfolio, and you've been in the industry since the 2010s or earlier, according to what I was able to dig up online. How did you get into filmmaking? I think we should start from there.
I've always wanted to be an actor.
Okay,
So it was really acting for me. I really wanted to be an
okay,
actor. And then I'd always been a writer. So, it was more about the acting. And that didn't really click for me. I left the chase to go do other things, to work in radio, to work in advertising, to do project management.
how
Went
long
back
ago
to
was this?
radio. Oh, when I started in my university days,
Oh, great.
and yes, and I worked for, I think I have about 7 years for 9 to 5 before
Okay,
coming back. Yes.
okay,
And then before that, so right after I went back to radio for the second time, I decided, this was not it for me. I really just wanted to do film. What as an
okay,
actor, what as a writer, what as a director. So I decided to go to film school, and that was in 2012.
okay,
I had my
okay.
experience already by then. Then I packed my bag and I shipped off. And when I came back in 2013, I then met Mr. Chris, the late Mr. Chris of Silver Studios, who had
Oh,
then taken my
bless his
film
soul.
to visit. He said, "Oh wow!" So I mean, the visit amongst other films. Said that you have something there. Let's work together. Let's make this film. And so we took a chance and we did the visit. Automatically, I mean, I thought to myself that I'm grown now. I mean, I just feel bored. I just did my first film. Go to the cinemas. Have already blown, but I don't blow. So um, I then so after the film came out in 20, one thing I learned was when I made the film in 2013, I realized that there were a number of mistakes made. So I started that what you learn in film school abroad is very different from what you how to operate here in this terrain.
Okay,
And then I
true.
decided, let me go work with somebody who I know I can learn from. I started working with Mary Jeffrey and then worked for the same stage. And that was how we
Okay,
started working with Rock Studios, the local Rock Studios. And I learned quite a lot about production, how to produce here in Nigeria, building relationships, having contacts. And so finally in 2016, I launched out on my own.
okay. Oh, quite an interesting foray, I must say, from starting somewhere off track a bit, eventually finding yourself in production, and also finding your footing. And here we are now with how many movies down under your belt? Do you still remember how many movies you've made so far? Are you keeping count, or you're just like, let's go next one, let's go next one, let's go next one?
I think that my own personal project, ownership project, maybe maybe about 16. But
Oh wow.
films that I've directed, I I don't even think it's up to 30 yet. I don't know. I really can't say. I don't know. It's quite a lot. Films I've
Let's just
directed. But
go.
under my production company, would be
Okay.
about 16.
Oh, great, great. And hopefully you're not getting tired anytime soon.
Oh no, we keep going. I mean, the as long as the oil is burning the candle, we keep going.
Amen to that. And how would you say the journey has been so far? Well, how would you describe the journey so far?
There's been a lot of learning. I don't
Hmm.
see, so I wouldn't say, oh, there are ups and downs. No. I just think there's been a lot of learning. I mean, I've made some mistakes. I've learned from my mistakes. I've grown from my mistakes. I have
Okay.
tried to take account of what I did wrong, what I have to do right now. So it's been a very, it's been a learning experience for me. That's how I see it. I feel like, even when you make a mistake, when you fail, it's a learning curve. So I don't like to say, oh, the ups and downs. It's been up, 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 because every challenge has helped me to challenge myself to be better, to be
Oh,
stronger.
great, great, great. I think that's something a lot of people need to learn from, because I have conversations with a lot of people, and
Mm-hmm.
myself inclusive. We get to beat ourselves up a lot when things don't go the way we want them to.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as we see them as learnings, I think we'll just get up and get back to work and keep moving. So I think that's something that even me myself, in this case, I'm definitely taking away. So in terms of your directorial process, when you're trying to create your films, when you're trying to get your craft going, I've noticed that you follow a bit of, in most of your works that I've come across, you follow a bit of minimalistic approach in terms of budget and in terms of scope of production. I think I'll give an exception of Breaded Life, because Breaded Life had a bit of the upbeat setting, the setups, there were the party scenes and all those things. So maybe with the exception of Breaded Life, I don't know if you would have any other exception. How's your process like? How do you decide? Okay, this is how I want to shoot this film. This is how I want to tell my story. What filmmakers inspire? Okay, let me let you answer that one first before I ask the second part of the question. Basically, your directorial process. What is it like?
So I know a lot of people look at my work as being minimalistic. Yes, I really like intimate filmmaking, and what I mean by that is, I like to juice out of a minimum amount of cash. Juice out
Okay.
the game. I feel like I'm not distracted because the story is resting on my shoulder as their shoulder. And so,
Yes.
3, 4, 5 people, you know that the whole world is depending on you to
Okay.
tell this story. More
Okay.
importantly is the fact that the actor realizes that you don't have any other thing, there's no distraction. So for me, being able to capture the mind of the audience within that small space, with that small amount of task, for me is always that. However, it doesn't always work like that. Again, it's how the story comes, because many times I write my stories myself.
Okay.
So it really depends on, sometimes the stories. I mean, I just shot a film last year. For the first, that was my first one. I had about 12 locations in
Wow,
an
that's
actual
a lot.
house. Yes, 12
Mm.
locations and quite a number of people in there. Again, I'm not going to limit myself because, oh, I tell you this story. This is what I'm going to do. Last year, I shot a film ICT, and we had about 13, 14 people to test every day. There's nothing intimate about that, really. So it really
Mm.
depends on how the story comes and what the
The
story
story
asks.
determines the process.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
If I feel like this is what needs the distraction of an extra or the party or anything else, then I don't see the need for it. If I'm able to capture the audience with just that, then I'm fine. In terms of, and I know people have always said, oh, I shoot with small budget, yes, because of course I shoot for the most of the time. But one of the things I've always come to do is, no matter how, no matter the budget. I remember my first, I think we spent about 11 million, and that was my very first film, you
Mm.
know. And I've gone on after that to shoot with smaller budget. What I feel like smaller budget is for me is it helps me to focus, to choose my battle, and to focus on the most important thing in the story. Because
Mm.
if you have a lot of budget, sometimes you get distracted. So then you need to have
Mm.
something that will possibly move the story forward. Every
Yeah.
scene in a low budget story for me, every scene matters. It needs to move the story forward. It's relevant and it's important. You take away that thing, you go plot to loss.
Mm.
So I choose my battle. Even though it's always my budget to try very hard not to compromise, which I said that we have to choose where you want to compromise and you have to choose where you cannot, you know,
Compromise.
do the need. So
Okay.
yeah, so and because again to talk about my process, because I write many times in my stories, even when I don't write, I'm the one telling the writer the story. I pretty much have built the world in my head. So so even from writing, I'm directing. I already
Mm.
know how I want to plot my story. I already know how I want to do my things. I already know, who I want to cast, how I want them to be, how I want them to, what I want them to wear, how I want them to sound. So because it's always really from me and the source, it's easier for me as a director. Notwithstanding, I've worked on projects that I have not written before, and it's always in the process.
Mm. Thank you very much for that short masterclass. That was packed. And one thing I could pick away from that is the fact that the story, number one, determines the scope. That's the first thing. And number two, once a budget is for stories that have a limited budget, once the budget is it's not really about the budget, it's about the scope also and what you can accomplish within the limits and constraints of that budget. And I think I could also cite some examples. Sorry, I'm always giving references and things like that when I'm having conversations like this. I think I could also cite an example in the movies produced by Blumhouse. Blumhouse is an Hollywood studio that focuses on low budget stories, and they maximize it. Movies like Get Out, movies like The
Mhm.
Purge, they are made by Blumhouse, and you look at those movies and you'll see that the stories are what pushes the movie forward.
Yes,
And
yes,
I'll bring that back to a movie like Jobba, which I watched a few days ago with my wife.
yes.
Jobba is as low budget as it comes. I think three locations at most, if I remember
It was actually
correctly.
shot, the entire thing was shot in my office.
Ah, imagine that. So I probably saw like three different locations in the entirety of a movie of 1 hour for
Mhm.
something minutes, but the story was solid, and I say that without any form of trying to make you feel whatever. The story was really solid, and that was what held kept me going. So basically, I
The
think,
story
I
and the
mean,
performance.
yes, 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 yes. The performances were really incredible. The two of them did a really great job, and I saw your cameo also. Okay, so the reason why we are here, let's enough with the masterclass. The reason why we are here, which is breaded life.
Live.
Yes, let's talk a bit about that. So, where did the story come from? How did the story about breaded life? How did it come about, basically?
So in 2017, I'd written Picture Perfect, I'd released Picture Perfect, and people were
Mm,
clamoring for, oh, a sequel. And again, I think the fear of will it be as good if I write a sequel, will it be as good as the first? Will I not be disappointing and all of
mm.
that? So I then started, let me create a cinematic universe because I'm always creating characters anyway.
Gang,
Let me
gang.
create, and let me create two new characters, but in the Picture Perfect world.
Okay,
So if you look at
okay.
Brother Life, it's almost like a picture perfect kind of story when you watch
Mm,
it because you can say, oh, picture perfect part two and you're like, what? But
okay.
It's about two different people who were not in Picture Perfect, but then had one or two of the characters of Picture Perfect that in
Present in the story.
the yes.
Okay.
So just like I'm bringing on, so of course, Picture Perfect discussion was Agege. Real life also happened in Agege, just another part of Agege.
Mm. Okay.
And so that's how we began to write. Actually, it was me, and I had a young actor who I was mentoring at that time, and he had come to my office, brilliant actor, and we were just
Mm.
talking, and I said, "Oh, let us think of something for you. Let's think of something that can push you as an actor." I said, how about you this rich kid, this, that, and we began talking about the story, you know. So we stopped talking about it that day, and I think maybe like a month later, I revisited that conversation and tried to piece it together. So this story was written in 2017. It has gone through about 7 drafts because
Oh,
every
nice.
time, yeah, because every time I read it, I ask myself, so
Is it
when
ready?
the moment I started taking it to cinema, we began making it bigger and bigger. Before it was really in my usual fashion. But then when I said, okay, let's take some examples, let's take some risks. But again, I didn't want to make the story bigger for bigger sake. Every character that was introduced had to have a reason why they were there, had to be connected to the lead, to the protagonist. It had to be. So we started
Mm.
expanding and expanding, and we don't know whether it was became she was Yoruba, she was Igbo, she was Edo, before another thing. And I'm very particular about names because I feel like Jobe was such a hit. The name itself was such a hit that it's important that in choosing what this new character was going to play, the name had to be something that people would either bite their tongue that would just make them laugh. What did you say? To do what? And that's how we came up with To Do With It, which was the
Mm.
name of my schoolmate back in secondary school and boarding school. I think years two or so. I never forgot that name. To Do With It secondary. I never forgot that name. And that's how we put it here. And that's how this film is birthday. Yeah, we are.
Awesome. Awesome. So here we are now. 2 days to the world seeing it. How do you feel?
Well, I mean, as I'm
Some
walking,
have
I'm
seen
seeing
it
better life.
already.
I'm seeing
Okay.
better life. I'm excited. I'm afraid. I mean, I'm not afraid that the people love it. I think that I'm confident in myself enough to say people will love this film. We've done a really good job. And we
Mm.
have really amazing actors who really take the 110 to do the job.
Mm.
So I'm not worried about people love it. I just it's cinema. I just want people to come out because money has gone down this matter. So we need to come out and make sure that we have value for all the efforts that we have put inside.
Yeah, so please, everybody that is listening right now, please make sure you troop out to see the movie. And once again, I'll repeat this. Stick around. I'm going to be giving away some tickets at the end of this call, at the end of this interview. So make sure you stick around. We're going to be giving about 5 tickets to people to go see the movie on Friday or during the opening weekend. Okay, so now in terms of Breaded Life, you've spoken about what inspired the film, how you came about the project, and things like that. What would you say were some of the biggest challenges you faced while making this film?
Um, well, this is the funny thing about Brother Life. It sets the set it sets in two worlds, the rich and the poor.
Okay, okay,
I'd
okay.
imagine that I will have issues in the ghetto because they always ask someone. However, because I went back to Agege is where my mother used to have a shop for
Okay.
about 10, 14 years. So it was a place where all the area boys that are there now were small, small children when we were there.
Mm.
So everybody's like, oh, they know Auntie me, Auntie me, Auntie me. So it was pretty easy. And because I'd gone severally to sell, and then I shot in my friend's bakery. Um,
Mm.
so everybody kind of knew that I was coming. But again, there will always be those boys who don't talk to you. Wow, who are these people? There's somebody says, oh, money. I want the money, want tackling it, like, oh, okay, okay. But where I did not think to have problems was the island. All of my
Wow,
love. Yeah,
wow, that's a
yeah,
surprise. I wasn't
yes,
expecting that.
yeah. So the first day of shoot, the location manager, we had paid for a location 2 weeks prior. And then the night before, I started calling this guy, and I said, "Oh, I just want to confirm." I said, "Oh, sure, sure." I told my manager said, "Let me send somebody to the place." We got there in the morning and the man said he doesn't know the yard. Nobody has paid for anything. This is me with three vehicles, a coaster bus, two equipment buses, tons of cars,
Wow. Wow.
nowhere to go, you know. And then if you've ever filmed in this city, you know, big thing has serious wahala, you know.
Hmm.
So we didn't start, we had to pay 200 times more for a place we had paid, you know.
Hmm.
I mean, I think 200% more, 200% more. What we paid for location, the other location we had to pay, and I think they knew that we were desperate, so they just built us and we had to. We couldn't afford to lose that day. There's no point. Then the second day we had to rent show rain for about 6,000. This is island. It's flood.
Wow.
So we had to wait some hours for the water to simmer down and then we could only show maybe three things and we had paid for that day. I mean, you're talking about paying for a place like 200,000 naira a day. That money is
Hmm.
gone.
It's gone.
And then
Try.
I was just trying to read the state.
People come
By
and
the
watch the
third
film.
day,
Oh, are you hearing the
uh,
wahala that they went through?
by the third day, we were begging the owner of the house, can we have just one thing left for the fourth day. Can we just let us shoot? He said, no, we pay. So, and then there was entrance.
Wow, it
So,
was during
by
the
the time, by
NSAS
the fifth,
period.
yes, now, we took for 14 days. By the fifth day, we had moved to another location further down someone's estate. Now, the blockade had been happening. It had happened at the main toll. By the
Wow.
fifth day, they were moving the blockade to the second toll. So some of us have crossed the toll gate. 10 minutes after, somebody said we can't cross. So we were at a location that we couldn't shoot that location for 3 days and we're paying. We
Hmm.
were paying. We paid for the first day, some actors could get there, others could not get there. Second day, equipment could get there, I could not get there. Third day,
Jeez.
I could not get this. Equipment were there, but none of us could get there. And then so we left it and said, let's go back to the mainland because let's go and look for soccer somewhere else. And we filmed for about 5 or 6 days in Egypt, and then before even then, before the nation in the mainland, the whole issue of the shooting. So
The whole shutting
we
down
had
of
to
Lagos and
strike
all
it.
that.
We had to strike it for another few days, then to resume to finally go and finish it.
And here we are,
That has
finally.
been the most challenging thing ever in my life. I've
Wow.
never, I mean, I'm such a structured, such a planner, that I did not see any of these issues coming.
Wow. Wow. So sorry to hear that. The prayer is that I mean this pays off. It pays off with
Yes,
box office as a box office
amen.
hit. That's our prayer for this. So
Yes,
in terms of the casting process, right? In
yes,
terms of selecting the people that you were going to have in this movie, because I believe that you're big on your characters and how you go about
yes.
choosing your characters. How did you arrive at people that were going to be except for people who were returning, because it's a universe, but new people in the story. How did you arrive at those people?
Uh, so when I wrote the story initially, I imagined this was going to play it.
Okay.
I wanted Bisola to play that character. But then now became, again, you have to look at, you have to be very realistic when you are casting who against who. So the issue was who was I going to cast to play against her that will be believable, you
Hmm.
know. And then I changed my mind. Then I now worked with Bimbo in looking for Bami. And Bimbo knew, in fact, before looking for Bami, we had done the theater in the 2016. And she blew my mind. And then we had such a limited time to talk about looking for Bami. And I said, because I was filming the theater in long when I started writing looking for Bami, writing the play. And I looked at her and said, Bimbo, it's a story. Oh. Maybe you're able to do it. And I just said it to her. And so we finished filming out here. Drove straight to Ibadan. Without film looking for Bami. And I was
Hmm.
blown away by her performance. In that short
Wow,
time
incredible.
that she had to prepare to go from being Sophia, because the characters are very different,
Wow.
you
Wow.
know, and
Shout out to
and
Bimbo.
they're both demanding characters. That we've seen out there, you know that Sophia is a local girl, then Ajinde is a street Ibadan girl, tomboy, you know. So going from that, I just felt like there's still some more onion to peel. There's still something that we have not peeled. So when I started out with the movie, I said to her that this is what I'm thinking for this character. I want you to do something different. You've done
Mm,
Sophia, you've done Akinwe. Let's try something else. Let's show them like you can do something. I said, oh, sure, I said, you can go back to business and go and do some study. And truth wasn't what came to set with a dialect coach, who was teaching her as a senior. So then with Timini, I had met on the film set, Rich, and I knew that Timini had always wanted to work with me as I went to work with him. When we went on Rich, I saw that he acted, it's not like I'm acting my thing. I'm acting that I want the director to know that I can act.
mm,
So after that, I started in for another film. But I think his calendar, my calendar, we did not work together. That to start somebody else. But because of what he had told me, he planned for that character, I knew that if I casted him to me, he was good. And again, don't forget I was coming off Elevator Baby, which was very close to his character, and I was worried. But I knew that again, Elevator Baby was just his character, but this takes his character on a journey. There is a character
mm,
transition, transformation, there's a character story in this very life and so.
mm.
And that was it. Bisala, because I want Bisala is always my go-to. Bisala I know is multi-talented, multilingual. I said to her, you are going to be Igbo, I'm going to be anti-Agri. That's it. Latif, I just know that Latif and I worked on Beauty and the Beast. And I just know that there's too more to that guy. To let me, me, I'm always about let me use an actor in the way people are watching them to use so that they can rediscover and use them as against the same way that people use them. It's always easier to say, oh, act on a fine boy, you know how to play rich kid, and then you keep casting him. But then there's more
There's
to that
this
actor. The moment you sit
typecast.
down and have a conversation with that
Mm.
actor, you find out that there's so much more to the layers. And so how about we go with this in it, what we are seeing and say, let's discover something new about you. Let's bring it out to the world. Same thing with this to, and John.
Awesome. This is amazing. Like, I didn't know that some of the thought process I was going to go into this was this much. I mean, I think I picked that you said something about a dialect coach.
Yes.
Wow, that's I didn't even know that Nollywood filmmakers did that. Huge
Hey,
kudos to
I mean,
you. Huge.
the actor brought her own dialect coach.
Wow,
When we did AJ about me, she got somebody in about to teach her the dialect,
wow,
Ibadan dialect.
wow,
But she was the
wow,
one to got somebody. Self-paid. She didn't
wow,
have to, she didn't pay for it. She paid for herself.
wow. This is amazing. Big shout out to Bimbo. I mean, everybody knows Bimbo is an amazing actress, but actually hearing this is totally mind blowing. Now another thing is you're quite big on messages in your film. Um,
Yes.
so what's the message you want people to take away from this film?
From this film, quite a number. There's message for everybody. There's message for entrepreneurs. Starting small, thinking big.
Okay.
Very important. Have a small business, but always think big about that. Think about how to elevate that business. Because that's
Mm,
what is going to happen in the film. Helping you discovering who you are, finding your purpose. It speaks to a lot of rich families who forget to raise their kids or spoil them with money. Because
mm,
after that, after they go, what happens? You work so hard to do so much for your child, but you forgot to train that child to have respect for that you're going to so that they can also do what from that. And then what
mm,
happens is that child doing everything, spends it, and then the whole legacy is gone because you forgot
mm,
to raise your child. Quite a number. Never belittle, finding love in unusual places, finding friendship in unusual places, finding collaboration, partnership. Because this film it has the message has so much collaboration, partnership, business development, human development, personal
mm,
discovery, finding your purpose, quite a lot. I tell people that I'm a very purposeful filmmaker. Film for me is a ministry. It's not just what you're saying, but I want you to watch my film and let it linger in your mind, you know, as long as it can linger.
Hmm. And I think that's something that shows that this movie has a lot of things for different people. And because I think I personally am somebody that I look at movies as being very psychological. I ask a lot of questions. Why do I like this movie and I don't like this movie? Why do people like this movie and they don't like it? Why do people react this way in certain scenes? And a lot of people don't know this, but movies are actually scientific. There's a way you can actually plot a story that is going to seem more like it's all logical and but to people that are watching it, it looks like storytelling. So, what you're saying basically right now is the fact that for different people with different psychological viewpoints, with different mindsets, there's something for different
Yeah.
people to see from this film.
I think that
Awesome.
also the fact that one of the strengths of, I mean, with every of my films, relatability. You would know somebody. You would connect because it is relatable to you. Relatable to somebody that you know, relatable to
Ah,
the story
okay.
that you heard, you know.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
that's
Okay.
relatability always brings the story closer to home for you.
Yes, it makes it more personal. Yes, awesome. Yes, now let's just take a look at certain things that you do in terms of how you get to put out your films. And I've noticed that you explore a lot of partnerships, or will I say, flirting with YouTube. And why exactly do you explore that option? The reason why I'm saying this is there's a high chance of piracy. I mean, once it's on one
Mm,
channel, it can be duplicated
mm.
across many channels and things like that. When you already have partnerships with other platforms, VODs, TVs, is there anything behind your choice of YouTube as a
Um,
platform?
Again, most of these platforms, not everybody. I've come to realize that I have a lot of followers in Nigerians and non-Nigerians in diaspora.
Okay,
Not everybody is watching Europe. Not everybody is watching African Magic. Not everybody is in Netflix. So someone like me now, my Netflix account is deactivated. I've not posted my DSTV in a while. So do you understand? But again, I still need for people to, some sort of
so
pay. So
sorry.
YouTube for a lot of people to
How
see.
do you wind? How do you wind down?
Oh, I watch a lot of. I mean, when I say, I'm just saying that when I mean, because of when I love TV. So
Okay,
if I'm at home, I'm either at the cinema watching, catching up on as many films, and I catch up, I'm at home watching TV. But I deactivated
okay.
because I want to focus on. I have
Okay,
work, I have
okay,
to work on
okay, okay,
cinema,
okay.
and
To keep
then I have to
focused.
start planning to pick up after the series. So I just, and if I start watching the series, I can't think of anything else. I want to finish it immediately. So
You
let's focus. So that's why I deactivated.
just
And
planted
then
a
I'm just
seed, but you
enjoying
don't
the
know.
series now because the children are back home now for holidays in the week. My
Awesome,
husband just
awesome,
watches the news, so there's no point.
awesome,
So
awesome.
but with YouTube, I'm able to reach a lot more people, and I have so many people saying, "Oh, bring this on YouTube." So I can't believe so many things on YouTube at the same time. I just okay, this is what is coming. So and what has happened to me in the last few weeks now is when I released Jobber, the platform reached out to me and said, "Please, we want this content." So now Jobber is up with you. When I put out the letter on wrong, the someone reached out to me, please they want this. So really, I'm putting out there and then other people are saying, oh, please give us, we want.
So one way or the other is marketing for you.
Yeah, it's a marketing strategy. Somewhere, but eventually I really wanna, build up on the Shoulder Speak TV, YouTube channel so that some content because beyond making films, there's so much more I want to make
Okay,
that I want to put out. Yeah.
okay, okay. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So we're winding up now, and I mean, you already spoke about the process of making of shooting into very contrasting places, VGC, and we weren't expecting VGC to be the trouble child.
Yeah.
When everybody was expecting Agege to be the one that was going to be quite easy.
Yes.
So, in terms of your future productions, in terms of future projects, would you say you tried some of what you've done on this project, or you want to see how it's going to perform first before you make that business decision?
So, unfortunately for us, we're in this terrain where we are. I'm really so much more of a creative. but we are
Okay.
taught as creators to think business many times. In developed countries, you're a creator, a creative. There's a business arm who takes care of all of that worry for you.
Mm.
So, you know, where we are now is so I mean I'm gonna still keep making things regardless. You know, I'm gonna still keep telling them regardless whether I'm hoping that we do well. For the sake of my collaborators, my partners
Yes.
who invested in you know. But in the future where we always keep doing I mean right after once this is out of I mean once by next month I start filming, I start getting ready to shoot picture perfect the series, you know. So we'll keep doing what we can do. I mean, this business, we already know that money should not be the focus. It's really the passion of getting the message and the work across and sharing the work and sharing the ideas to the world. And that's really where my focus and not so much into the money. Somehow we are getting back. Although we say, money is important. Stop saying money focus. You know? So I just tell him to handle the business so that me I can focus on creating. It's
Ah,
such a
nice.
difficult place to be as a creative. It's such a difficult place because you're thinking about how will I make money. I don't want to think about it. I just want to create. So that somebody else worry. When we sell, give me the money. Let us go back to production.
So collaborations are also very vital for somebody
Very,
who is
very
an
vital.
artist and doesn't really know how to, or doesn't, maybe it's not, it doesn't really know, but wants to focus on creating. Having partnerships with people who can help you in certain places where you can focus is also very vital. So I think I'm repeating this for people who are on this call and who are hearing
Mhm.
this. So before we close up, I think there are one or two opinions in the comment section. So I just want to take a look at some of these things before we then look at closing. Um, Yes, so Tracy George is asking, and she has asked so many times, she's really interested in this question. She's asking, ask Auntie Biodun what inspires her to write. I am curious. Her stories keep hitting the notes, marks. They are always reliable and never repetitive. Relatable. They're always relatable and never repetitive. So I don't know if you have a response to that question.
I'm always asked this so many times, and I say that I draw from my own. I draw from my own experience. I've learned very early. I think because I'm an orphan, and I was orphaned very early, so I've learned that to take all of my pains and write them down.
Ah,
So I write.
okay,
I turn my pains into stories.
okay.
I turn my highs into stories. So there's a fraction of me, a fragment of me in most of my stories, there's a fragment of me. Because many times I look at, okay, what happened to me in 1997? Then I start writing, and then when I start writing, I
Mm.
remember somebody else story. So I take this, and then, you know. And then anything inspires me. You and I can be having a conversation now. I mean, it literally happened. My husband and I were talking. This would be like the third thing my husband has mistakenly told me, and I've written them. I've turned them into films. He was just
Ah,
sending me a
wow.
gift one day. And I'm like, see a movie script, though, you know. And then I sit down and I begin to write it, and it's like, what any gist, you know, and it's turning film.
Ó ti sọ
Just
gist
very,
mi
very careful
dowó.
around me. Yeah, very, very careful. And I'm doing, we're just talking, just so even when people come to me and say, oh, I want to write a story, I tell them, no, the story is within you. Tell me about yourself. From what you're talking
Mm.
about, you create a story. We all carry a story within us. Just from general conversation, I'm able by the grace of God to just piece, and then it becomes a story.
Awesome. We all
It's
carry
really from life
a
experience.
story. We all carry a story. That's I'm holding on to that. We all carry a
Yes.
story. Okay, so yes, so I'm looking at the other comments. Supergirl
Mhm.
Hope, thank you very much for joining. You said you had low battery, you had to leave. Supergirl Hope, thank you. You can catch the rest of it on the channel. We'll save this video. All our interviews are saved on the page, so you can always watch. Licia says, so we can watch it. That's the only way I can see her movies. Or maybe she was saying something before that. I'm trying to look at other comments. Movies remind us of things we take for granted. That's very true. There's something for everyone. Breaded Life said that. Oh, that sounds familiar. um, Okay, so jokes apart, ma'am, Bimbo Ademoye is too good. Yes, she's incredible. She's amazing. All right, so I think we've looked at a couple of the comments. If you have any comments, if you have anything you'd like to add to the conversation, please feel free to do that. Before we go, like I said, um, we will be doing a giveaway and we'll be giving 5 tickets to people to go see the movie on Friday. But just before that, something light before we close. So, what's your favorite snack when you're watching a movie, when you're seeing a movie?
When I'm in the cinema, it's definitely popcorn, loads of it. When I'm
Okay.
at home, I like to drink Gary a lot. Because if I'm eating rice, if I'm eating bread, it's not gonna work. You know, Gary, you just do it and you sip it, small spoon, like
Just
half of
sipping
the
it
drink.
small.
Add water. Yeah.
And there's
So
something about
and
me,
let me
Gary.
think. It's not like I give so much when I'm watching TV because I like to eat when I'm watching TV. I'm either
Okay.
on my phone because I'm more of a listener than a
Okay.
watcher.
Oh, okay.
I like to
Okay.
listen. Yes, yeah.
Oh, nice.
So Gary is
Nice.
my go-to meal.
All right, so then the other question, pounded yam or amala?
Ha! Which soup precisely?
That would determine.
I mean, both of them are quite tasking to make. So really,
Mm.
in terms of what I like to make as a quick fix, it's none of those two.
Oh, okay.
Embarked and fasted. Amala. If I eat out anywhere, amala is my go-to. So always amala, always. I rarely eat
uh,
yam outside. So it's amala
okay.
always.
There's a very amazing comment in here that I have to read to you. So Tilicious has expanded on what she was saying. He said the comment was about her having her movies on YouTube. I'm in the US and I watch her movies on YouTube. I love her so much and I'm planning a trip to Nigeria. I must meet her before I leave. She's my mother in my head. Oh, that's so nice. That's so
I would love
sweet.
to meet you too. Just holla when you're in town.
Okay, so yes. Now, for us to give the 5 tickets, all you need to do right now, if you want the ticket, just drop a comment that says "Breaded Life is coming," and I'm going to pick 5 people at random. Just drop a comment in the comment box right now that says "Breaded Life is coming," and I'll pick 5 people at random, and you can once we select those people, would ask those people to send a DM, and once the movie is in cinemas, we'll send out the tickets. So please feel free to send in the comments. Breaded Life is coming. We're waiting so we can round up. So Madam Biondu can go and sleep or
I'm
continue
ready to
promoting our
do that.
movie.
Yes. I have to cover for too many emails.
Lady Funlayo, I did not say please send me ticket. I said say Breaded Life is coming. There's a difference now. Okay, so the 5 people who we will be choosing at random, because you commented first, Ololade underscore, yes, please send us a DM. Bukumi Ajiboye, please send us a DM. Tracy George, please send us a DM. That's 3 people, I think. That's 3 people. Simply Deborah, please send us a DM. That's 4. And Lady Fulayo, Breaded Life is coming. Oh, you too like Ovasabi. Okay, please, that's 5 people. So all 5 of you, please send us a DM and make sure you're following the page. If you're not following Sodas and Popcorn, no ticket for you. God bless you guys. Thank you very
Yes.
much for joining the call. So this has been a very, very enlightening conversation. I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I'll definitely be watching this interview. Thank you very much for making our
Yeah.
time out of your busy schedule to have this conversation with us. We're so sorry Timini couldn't have joined us. He's busy promoting the movie. So sorry about that. Don't worry about it. So thank you very much. And everybody that joined the conversation, thank you very much for joining. God bless you guys and have a very lovely evening. We have more of this coming up in